Journalism is all about storytelling. The question is, how far can you go for the sake of your story? Ask CNN. The American news broadcaster has become the talk of the town, and not in a good way. So what did CNN do? It trespassed for the sake of a story. Now, I'll give you an insight into how newsrooms work. You see, every time a story breaks, news outlets dispatch their reporters to get something that no other organization has, maybe exclusive footage, an exclusive interview, or exclusive insight into a story. One such story broke on the 6th of October. There was an attack at a childcare center in Thailand. An ex-cop ended up killing 37 people. 23 of them were children. It was Thailand's worst massacre. A crime of this scale was bound to evoke curiosity. People had all sorts of questions. Why did the ex-cop do what he did? What exactly happened at the crime scene? Who were these children who died? What does the daycare center look like? It's normal to respond to a crime with questions. The problem begins when you cross a line to answer these questions for the sake of your story. And that is exactly what CNN did this weekend. Its reporters entered the crime scene without authorization. Thai authorities had cordoned off the daycare center. It was off limits for journalists. But that did not seem to mean much for CNN. Its journalists entered the crime scene. They filmed blood-stained floors, sent the footage to the CNN headquarters, which then did not think twice before putting graphic content on air, and that too without any disclaimer. There is so much that's problematic here. So many people who were wronged. The victims, their families, local authorities, even CNN's own viewers. Did they ask to see young children's blood on air? So why did CNN do what it did? The network claims the team entered the building in good faith. The idea, quote unquote, was to gain a fuller impression of what transpired inside and to humanize the scale of the tragedy. Just FYI, the tragedy did not need CNN to humanize it. 23 young children have been killed in cold blood. You don't need CNN to heighten the emotions of this crime. Also, humanizing is one thing, sensationalizing quite another. Humanizing would be to respect the grieving family, not jumping a wall and police tapes for the sake of exclusive footage. Look at this. The Foreign Correspondents Club of Thailand has issued this statement. It asked CNN, would one of their crews have behaved in the same way at a serious crime scene in the United States? Before I go on, I want to just put this on record that I'm not making a case against journalism, anything but that. We are all for freedom of press. This story is about the breach of journalistic ethics. It's about crossing lines for the sake of viewership. Exclusive footage, ratings, trespassing to get a story. Things that the media fraternity is unfortunately no longer unfamiliar with. We have seen this before. We have seen mics being shoved into the faces of grieving family members. We have seen uncomfortable questions being asked. We have seen the media hounding mourners who want to be left alone. Something similar was playing out right after the Uvalde school massacre. The conduct of American journalists had angered people to an extent that a person walked up to a reporter and told her, "I hope your entire family dies in a massacre," quote unquote. You see, the problem is not about covering a story. The challenge is to tell a story sensitively. Now, coming back to what happened in Thailand. CNN claims it was given permission from health officials to enter the site, but these officials were not authorized to hand out permissions. Whatever the case is, lines were crossed here. Editorial ethics were compromised. And there are no two sides to this story. The CNN reporter also seems to agree. She has been quoted as saying, "We know your country is going through a painful time, and we never came here to cause more grief." Unfortunately, though, they did cause more grief. Thailand fined the reporter and the camera person for working as journalists while on tourist visas. They paid $133 each and left the country. But difficult questions remain for the media fraternity. How do you cover a tragedy? How do you ethically document a tragedy or tell a story without being disrespectful to the victims? These are questions American media and the media world over must think about. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.